Hello, I'm Bob Schieffer, and welcome to the CBS Evening News Online edition. Just ahead, we'll take a hard look at President Bush's controversial secret order to spy on American citizens. Bill Plant will have details and analysis. Also, it may be the beginning of a troop drawdown. We'll take you to Kansas to see some soldiers who thought they'd be spending Christmas in Iraq. And signing up for the Medicare drug benefit. The Friday Consumer Alert will take you through it step by step. It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News Online edition. It is against the law to wiretap or eavesdrop on the conversations of Americans in this country without a warrant from a judge. But the New York Times says that is exactly what the president secretly ordered the National Security Agency to do in the months after 9/11. The administration will neither confirm nor deny the story, but Congress is in a fury. Alan Specter, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, calls it inappropriate and says he will hold hearings to investigate. We begin with Bill Plant at the White House.
In the heat of the search for al-Qaeda terrorists after the 9/11 attacks, President Bush signed a secret order allowing the National Security Agency to spy on the overseas communications of American citizens without a court order, something normally forbidden by law. It's reportedly been used hundreds of times and is a fundamental shift in intelligence gathering, which the president, in an interview today with Jim Lehrer of PBS, refused to confirm or deny. The news, first reported by the New York Times, made national headlines, but Mr. Bush didn't see it that way. The secret order allows the NSA to intercept phone calls, email, or fax messages sent from inside the U.S. to any point outside the country. Intelligence expert John Pike says the administration wanted to be able to rapidly monitor suspected terrorists without going to court.
To get an individual court order, you would need to have some evidence that that person had a foreign terrorist connection. The NSA, you wouldn't require that. Basically, if somebody was in somebody's phone book, if somebody was operating from a phone number, that would be good enough to go after monitoring them.
That's the kind of aggressive offense administration officials insist they need for terrorists.
Say that winning the war on terror requires winning the war of information.
Sources credit the eavesdropping order with some notable successes, including the plot by a trucker in Ohio to sabotage the Brooklyn Bridge. The administration has briefed key congressional leaders about this program from the beginning.
Mr. President!
But today's revelation came amid fierce debate over the reauthorization of the USA Patriot Act, prompting a key Republican to call for congressional hearings.
But it's inexcusable to have spying on people in the United States without court surveillance in violation of our law, beyond any question.
At the heart of this are two firmly held beliefs in this White House. One, that terrorist threats sometimes require and justify crossing the line that protects civil liberties. And two, that the president has the constitutional authority to decide when to cross that line. Bob?
Bill, hold on there for just a second, because we want to bring Gloria Borger into this now, because this disclosure could not have come at a worse time for the administration, which is trying to get Congress to renew the controversial Patriot Act. This, of course, is the legislation the government argues it needs to fight terrorism, but critics say it violates civil rights because it gives the government far too much power to look into individuals' backgrounds, even to checking up on the books they're reading. Now, Gloria, today anyway, the critics seem to have had the upper hand at the Capitol.
That's right, Bob. In fact, the Patriot Act is completely in limbo right now with a filibuster that's being led by a very strange alliance of conservative Republicans and liberal Democrats, all of whom believe that the Patriot Act infringes on your civil liberties by doing things like authorizing roving wiretaps and secret search warrants. And so right now there's a game of political chicken up here on Capitol Hill. The majority leader says, I'm going to keep you folks here until you reauthorize the Patriot Act, which is due to expire on December 31.
So, Bill, how do they view all that at the White House tonight?
Well, Bob, they're definitely on the offense. The president put out a statement just a few minutes ago admonishing the lawmakers to take another close look and saying that he absolutely has to have this. And tomorrow he's giving his radio address live. They've switched the subject from the Iraqi elections to the Patriot Act.
Well, Gloria, what do you think the outlook is up there? Do you think that the Congress will finally go along, or is it too soon to tell?
It's very soon to tell, Bob, but I think there are lots of folks talking about some kind of extension of the Patriot Act if they can't come to some kind of an agreement. But how long you would extend it for is up to debate.
Okay, well, thank you both. The Army's top general in Iraq told reporters today that he expects the number of American troops there to drop from the current 150,000 to about 138,000 by February. As a result, the soldiers of one Army unit who thought that they'd be headed to Iraq right now are instead getting ready to enjoy the holidays with their families. David Martin has the story from Fort Riley, Kansas.
The morning frost is still on the ground, but soldiers at Fort Riley, Kansas are out on the obstacle course. Huffing, puffing proof that the U.S. is about to start withdrawing troops from Iraq.
This brigade of 3,700 soldiers and another that's already in Kuwait will be the first two Army combat units affected by the drawdown. In fact, they already have been. If everything had gone according to plan, you wouldn't be here right now.
No, sir. We would probably be in Kuwait right now, sir.
In Kuwait and on their way to Iraq. But that's been put on hold, and that means Christmas at home for Mark and Annie Plaskett's young family.
He came home from PT, and I was getting our daughter ready for kindergarten, and he asked what we were doing for Christmas. And I looked at him, and he asked me again, what are we doing for Christmas? And I had to think about it because he kept using the word we, and I just looked at him. I said, this better not be a joke. This isn't funny.
So a 2-foot artificial tree has now been upstaged by the real thing.
As soon as we found out he was home for Christmas, we went and got a real Christmas tree.
There's a good chance Mark won't have to go to Iraq at all if Defense Secretary Rumsfeld approves a plan to send only about a third of the brigade to train the Iraqi army.
From what I see of the situation now, training the Iraqi army may be the next most important mission that we do.
That's only a tiny cut in the number of U.S. troops in Iraq, but as Brigade Commander Bart Howard says, it's a start.
But you're sort of the brigade that's right at the cusp here, right on the turning point.
I think we're the brigade that represents the change.
There's already been a big change in Christmas. David Martin, CBS News, Fort Riley, Kansas.
There was a lot of trading today on Wall Street, but in the end it didn't amount to much. The Dow Industrials lost about 6 points. The NASDAQ dropped 8. The new Medicare prescription drug plan starts on New Year's Day, and more than 40 million seniors are eligible to sign up for it. But there is so much confusion over how to sign up and how to choose a coverage plan that's right for you that tonight we're going to try to walk you through the whole thing. Wyatt Andrews with our Friday Consumer Alert.
Who's that knocking at my door?
It's the weekly concert at the Salem, Virginia Senior Center. But as lively as they are here, we couldn't find one who had signed up for the Medicare drug benefit.
Have you avoided this decision at all because it's hard?
Well, yeah, to be honest, I didn't understand it. I didn't know what to do.
No question, the benefit is complex, but signing up for the benefit is fairly easy. So grab a pencil because we've got a list for how to do this.
Step 1, most important, sit down and make a list of the drugs you take, the dosages of each drug, and the pharmacies you use. Drugs, dosages, pharmacies. Step 2, contact Medicare. Use the web at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE. Many seniors have asked, what good is that website if you don't use the Internet?
Half the people in this room is not on computers and things.
Dr. Mark McClellan, the head of Medicare, who's traveling by bus these days to explain the benefit, says calling 1-800-MEDICARE is all you need.
And we will walk you through the same information that you can get on the computer.
Do you have a list of all your drugs available today?
Now, step 3. When you call 1-800-MEDICARE, read to the counselor your list of drugs, and the counselor, like Delana here, takes it from there.
What can you do at that point?
We can go ahead and enter that information and help them compare, 3 plans.
Based on your list, Medicare will refer you to 3 insurance plans in your state that cover all of your drugs, and they will quote you the prices.
Would you just like me to send you out the information?
Now, at step 4, you have a choice. You can stop and enroll immediately through Medicare, or write down the plan's phone numbers and keep shopping.
Thank you for calling AARP Medicare RX. My name
If you call the individual companies like this one, the AARP United Plan, Manager Doug Norris says compare prices.
Most of the comparison is going to be around the cost of the plans, what the deductibles are, what the individual drug costs are.
But it's those first steps that get you moving, and that's make a list of your drugs, the doses, and your pharmacy, and then call Medicare. That's how you pick a benefit worth thousands over the rest of your life. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Salem, Virginia.
More stories are just a click away, but don't forget to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Monday's broadcast, In Defense of Christmas, we'll look at why hundreds of lawyers are on a crusade this holiday season. For CBSNews.com, I'm Bob Schieffer.